channel. Today I have some plants that I want to make my favorites, I guess, for this month. They're all new plants, except for one. One is a rehab plant that I'm really excited about because I've been waiting a long time for this thing to start growing back again. Most of them are anthurium. I have a philodendron, a monstera, and a hoya as well, so a little bit of a variety. So I am going to start with the rehab plant first because that one I'm super excited about. So this is a anthurium pedato radiatum. It used to be very large and lush. I bought it at a plant shop called Put a Plant on It in Buffalo, New York. And it was really cute, did really well, and then I had it all through the summer outside. It did great on my front porch. It's covered and gets morning sunlight, so it did really well. And then I don't know what happened about December. It just decided to end. So it's just been kind of hanging out. I've tried it in a couple of different medias to try and get it to come back. And pon with a little bit of fluval seemed to be the trick. So, but it's very, 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 very small, but it is coming back, thank goodness, because I really liked this anthurium. I was excited about it. So that is my big win for May, is that it's finally starting to grow back. The second plant that I want to show is a plant that was on my wish list for a little while. It's an anthurium vitarifolium, one of the big strappy leaf anthuriums. It's super cute. I have it in a DIY pon mix, so it's got pon, chunky perlite, and pumice, and then some little bark pieces. There was a Canadian YouTuber that was her recipe, and she grows anthuriums and they do really well, so I figured I would give it a try and see how it works. So far so good, but I've only been doing it with my anthuriums that I've had to repot, or like my fresh new ones, for probably 3 weeks now, so time will tell, but so far it seems to be working out pretty well. The second anthurium I have is Dark Phoenix. Not looking super dark right now, but it's still a baby, so once it gets a little bigger, the leaves get pretty dark, so I'm kind of excited about that. I like the darker plants. Lime green's fine. I have a couple of pothos that are pretty bright, but I really enjoy, the darker plants. So still small in the DIY pon, but I got this one from a company called TheGreenEscape. I really like their plants. They're small. They're usually fairly inexpensive, and they ship quick, so I've never had any issues. They have two ways to buy from them. They're based out of Florida. They have an Etsy shop, and then they also have a shop on Palm Street as well. I did notice that between the Etsy shop and the Palm Street shop, they do tend to carry a little more rare, uncommon plants on the Palm Street app as opposed to Etsy. Etsy tends to have some of their more common stuff, but I got this one through the Etsy app, and that's where I got the vitarifolium as well. Actually, all of these except for the rehab plant and the hoya came from the TheGreenEscape from the Etsy shop. I did just order something from them through Palm Street because it wasn't available on their Etsy shop, but that hasn't come in yet. This one is an anthurium Dark Phoenix crossed with crystallinum. So this will be interesting to see how this one turns out. I do like anthurium with, large defined silver veining, but I really like just the anthuriums that have, you know, I don't want to say no veining because they have veining, but usually the veining is the same color as the leaf, or very, very dark veining. So it'll be kind of neat to see how this one plays out. This one was, I believe this one was seed grown, so it could, you never know what it's gonna turn out like. But I like the dark phoenix, and I have a crystallinum, so I figured it'd be kind of neat to see how that turns out. It's starting to get a new leaf too, so that one is exciting. And then I got a philodendron Florida Beauty. This one I've had on my wish list for a long time, and I just never really seemed to find one that I liked. And then I figured, you know, I'll just shoot for, you know, a baby and see what happens as far as the coloring, because some of them can get, some of the Florida Beauties look really nice. The coloring is really kind of evenly distributed as far as the yellow, but taking a chance. The coloring on this looks pretty good though. It seems to be fairly well distributed, so I'm hoping that once this grows up that the coloring will look really nice on it and nice and even, not mostly green with a little bit of yellow. So we'll see. And then the last plant that I have is a Monstera Mint. A little crooked in her container. I kind of knocked it when I was pulling it out of the cabinet a little bit, so she dipped. Prop her back up in there. There we go. So this one I kind of wished for, but didn't really put it on my wish list because like a year ago these were crazy expensive. You know, I'm not super experienced in the plant world. I mean, I've gardened outside, so I have extensive gardens outside. Bulbs, perennials, trees, shrubs, stuff like that. And I've been doing that for, oh gosh, 20 years. So I'm really, you know, I don't mind spending a ton of money on a plant for outside because I know I can make it grow. But for the inside plants, I've really kind of dabbled in house plants over the years, a little bit here and there. Nothing crazy like this, but you know, I'm not willing to spend $300 or $400 on a plant because I'm not super experienced with plants as of yet. Starting to learn a little bit more, and so far I really haven't had too many deaths, so that's good. But and I've managed to bring quite a few of them back that I have almost bit the dust with, but you know, again, I'm not willing to spend $400, $500 on a plant that I'm not entirely sure that I can keep alive. So when these came down in price, these are tissue culture plants, which thank God, because I probably would never have owned this plant without it. Came down to a cheap enough price that I was willing to, you know, if I lost the plant, it wasn't going to pain me too much. I'd be sad and probably like, oof, but I wouldn't be, you know, heading towards heart attack thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I spent that much on a plant and killed it. So, Monstera Mint. And it looks very similar to the White Monster that I recently purchased, but it definitely is different. You can see, you can definitely see the difference in the coloring on the plant. So it'll be interesting when these two grow to full size, or at least, you know, as they start to mature and I get some, you know, larger leaves with fenestrations. It'll be nice to see kind of how the two look as far as the coloring difference. And then hopefully they're not so similar that, you know, I'm selling one. Currently I have a table right there with a bunch of plants that I'm purging because I'm bringing plants in, and while my husband is really generous as far as putting up with all of the plants throughout the house, because they're literally in every room except for my two children's room. You know, I have two boys, and their rooms are the only rooms that do not have plants. My bathroom, my pantry, my back entry, my basement, everywhere has plants. So I have decided that if I'm going to bring plants in, I'm going to purge plants. So these are mostly plants from my very early plant collecting days when, you know, you kind of go nuts and you're just like, oh, that's cool, I don't have that. So those are gonna go probably. We had a community yard sale this weekend. It was actually yesterday, and I had planned on putting them out to sell as many as I could out there, but it rained all day. So, and it was pretty cold. It was too cold for houseplants to be outside. I kind of wish our yard sale was not the first Saturday in May every year. I wish it was, you know, maybe the first Saturday in June or something like that, when it's a little warmer and the weather's a little more predictable. But I think I have enough over there that I recently applied to do live sales and purges on Palm Street. So I think I have enough there that it justifies doing a purge. So I'll probably just do a purge on Palm Street, and hopefully I can get rid of all of them or most of them, and then I'll try and find homes for whichever ones I can't get rid of. But it's a big table. There's a lot of plants there. I have my shelf in the back here is very empty. Most of them were on that shelf. And I'm trying to like consolidate most of my plants to like keep them together. So I put all my anthuriums in a cabinet to keep them together. I don't have very many, so they fit until these ones start to get larger, and then they probably won't fit in there. But like my plants are pretty much scattered throughout the house wherever I have room. And a light, I put plants. So I'm trying to get them to where I can have like collections together, because it would be nice to see them all together. But this is, ooh, and we have a growth coming out finally. Sorry, my cat. Carmel, do you have to do that right now? Come here, buddy. Come here. Yes. Yes. Can you give me 5 minutes? Huh? Bobby Boo? Can you give Mama 5 minutes? Cats. It's spring, so they get feisty. Huh, Bobby? Yeah. So this is a Hoya David Comingiana. I purchased this it was just a fresh cutting. It didn't have roots yet, so it was a little wilty, and it's starting to, the leaves are getting nice and firm now, and they're not looking as puckered. So it's definitely, and it's rooting, because I had it in a prop box with perlite, and as soon as it started rooting, I wanted to get it in punk, because I didn't want to like mess with it too much. But and we're getting a little tiny growth there. I'm not sure if that's a root or a vine. It looks like a vine, possibly. Or a root. Nope, it's a root. Why it's growing up on out, I don't know. But it's pretty. So I figured when I saw the cutting at a plant shop in Rochester, it's, what was it called? Stem Rochester. They had a cutting there, so I purchased it, and this is what it's doing. I did purchase another Hoya cutting there at Chelsea. That one had already rooted, so that one's growing vine out, so hopefully that'll start shooting out pretty soon. But this one took a little longer because it didn't quite have the roots to get going, but it does now, and I'm keeping it in the cabinet with the anthuriums for now, just to make sure. But so those are the plants that I have here for May. Those are my May favorites, we'll call them, and hopefully they'll do really well and grow fast. I'm really excited about the Vitarifolium. That one's been, I've had that one kind of on a list of anthuriums I would like to eventually look into purchasing. I'm kind of dipping my toes into anthuriums because You know, everybody says they're so finicky. So far in my experience, I haven't noticed too many issues with the ones that I do have. I'm, you know, able to keep them growing, and they usually have 1 or 2 leaves. I'm not really able to get much more than that out of them before they start to get crispy, but definitely going to work on trying to get them nice and lush. Hopefully that happens because they're cool plants. But thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.